All right, guys, and the podcast has started. Welcome to Savages and Scholars. How's everybody's quarantine today?
Ah,
Great.
slow.
It's wonderful. What have you guys been doing during quarantine, during all this?
Fortunately, I get to work from home, so I've been doing a lot of that and homework, which school has decided to be like give this two-step system now. I don't know if you guys are going to school. I think you're going to school, right, Anthony? Are you
Yeah.
doing the satisfactory, non-satisfactory, pass-fail thing that they're doing?
No.
Oh
What is that?
no.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what it is, guys. They're basically letting us be like, all right, there's so times are so troubling that we can't even deal with school. And so they're gonna be like, if you can at least say that you're not stupid, you can pass. And I'm like, all right, cool. We'll give you the same points. We're just not gonna raise up or take down your GPA. So basically, you get all of the benefits, but none of the risks.
But your GPA doesn't go up or down, right?
It does not go up or down, but you still get credit for the class. You still get credit. You can still pass. You can still graduate. The only difference is like, is whether you make a D minus or an F. If you can make a D minus, you're good. You're in, guys.
Uh,
I heard
So
about
wait, does this mean that it's basically no matter what happens, as long as you pass the class with a D, it doesn't count towards your GPA, so it won't lower, it won't raise it, it won't affect your GPA at all. It just, the only thing that matters is if you pass or fail.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
I
With
think sorry. I think at HCC, they haven't made that decision yet. Like we're still based on like what if you get an A, you get a certain amount of credits for it, stuff like that. But they are thinking about it. I don't know if they're gonna make the decision on changing it to the pass or fail system though.
so
I don't
not
know.
everyone's doing it.
Mm-mm.
No, each school has to do it individually, and then they have to come up with some kind of protocol. I mean, it's like a giant change of everything at this moment in time, and everybody's just dealing with it in the worst or best way possible. Mhm. But
Yeah.
it's super crazy. It's like I'm really glad because I'm taking algorithms again this semester, and not saying that I wouldn't pass, but this at least makes me feel like I can breathe a little bit easier. Because algorithms last semester was the worst class I've ever taken ever in my life.
How come?
Is it
Well,
the same class?
it is the same exact class. Yeah, I got like a D at that point in time, and it lowered down my grade, and they were like, and I can only get up to like a certain amount of D's. So I already had filled up that certain amount of D's, and they were like, you can't have any more D's, bro. And I had to take it again. And I was just like, all right, cool. I'm in.
Get enough of the D's.
Yeah, they're like, no more D's. C's.
No more D's.
We want C's. C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I mean, if you need them, if you need the degree, then yeah, fuck it.
Bro, so
Let me
like
see the get.
I went ahead and took the class. So the problem was the algorithms is so off. It's like another language. And I know I say that for any kind of code thing, but like this is literally like whenever we're talking about computers and moving information, it's just language based. And I'm not the best at language. So it's definitely an uphill battle for me.
Hmm.
Frankie, what have you, are you still working during all
Yeah,
this?
yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I can't relate to the whole school thing because I haven't been doing it
Hey, I
for
said
years.
I was also working. All right.
No, but yeah, I know. I know most of you guys are working. I know, like Marie with her job, it's kind of been tough, right?
hmm
But yeah, I'm in that category, like essential worker, which I think everybody kind of falls under that. I don't know, like it's
Ooh.
worker because
Essential.
like
No, yeah, when they put that out, it's like 16 categories, 16 sectors that are essential. It's literally like everything. So
Houston,
everybody's essential.
Houston's a very blue collar city, so it's like yeah, everybody, almost everybody just keeps working. business as usual. I mean, traffic is lighter in the mornings and in the evenings. But yeah, I'm a truck driver, and I deliver freight, exports, imports, all that stuff got to keep going, or else, like truckers like to say, America stops. When we stop.
Is it is essential kind of like the equivalent of being knighted?
Knighted.
Like you
I think that's
you
how
get knighted by the
no.
king in this situation, you're gonna get knighted by the president. Do you get like a letter or anything?
So yes. So when people first heard about that, like companies were rushing, and they would just give you a little letter, like just an 8x11 letter, just saying, with the company letterhead, saying this person is an essential worker. Then a broad description of what it is you do, and I got that. Like, man, I better keep it on me in case I get stopped, hassled by the police. For the first couple of days, like, it's ready.
Wow.
Business.
What is
like,
it?
people were quarantining, but people still go out, like people still go do stuff. And the police, this stay at home thing, it's not like a shutdown, it's not like it's not what people thought it would be. I thought it was what I thought it would be anyways. So yeah, you don't need the letter. Nobody's like stopping you like, hey, where's your I don't know, where's your sleep?
Yeah, I think everybody thought it would be like really strict, and that police would be roaming the streets looking for people who were out. Like, I think that's what everybody thought it was going to be, but this whole stay-at-home order is kind of like a suggestion more than anything. It's like, hey, you should probably stay home.
I mean,
exactly.
Because you guys haven't seen the videos of in India and in other places where things are going down. Like things are going down in a lot of other places where and people get tribal. They get tribal in these times. So it's easy as to try to make it like a recommendation, to try to push it and try to make it cool so that everybody's willing to do it. You know how the stay home little logo thing, and everybody's just kind of like
everybody's putting it on their profile pic.
Yeah, and those things get showcased more. They get showcased more than any other thing at the moment in time. So they're trying to make it cool. They're trying to go a different route. But if that doesn't work and if people start actually dying at a faster rate, I'm guaranteeing they're gonna start cracking down. They're gonna start cracking down hardcore if more and more people stop dying. I know like it went trans species in China, right? So it killed the first dog and they infected the first cat. So they're like in China, it's really getting down, right? So
you're a liar. It's getting it's affecting animals.
It is. The first dog died.
Recently, like in the past day, or
I don't know when that happened. That was a story that Janet told me. See, every time somebody calls me out on the story, I'm always like, "What, Janet? Do you know what?"
You're gonna blame Janet.
I was listening to some interviews from some of the members of that Corona task force. That one guy.
Deep state?
What?
The deep state?
What? No. What is that? Deep state.
I'm sorry. It was an attempt at a joke that Donald Trump said, but continue.
Yeah. No, he was just informing all about the virus and on, just kind of dispelling a lot of rumors and what's kind of blown out of proportion. These guys are. I was thinking, these guys are kind of so leading to the Trump press conferences. Like a lot of the media seems to get along with Trump, or Trump doesn't get along with the media. Mm-hmm. Consequently, so they'll grill him, or maybe it looks like they're grilling him, but he just doesn't like their questioning. But it seems to bleed over onto members of the Corona task force, which is uncalled for because those guys seem pretty qualified. I mean, regardless of when they were put together or whatever your politics are, those guys still seem pretty qualified as far as their credentials go. But Yeah, I was listening to an interview with that dude. What's his name? Let me look it up.
The doctor?
Yeah, the doctor with the glasses. The guy with the glasses.
Anthony Fauci, the shoe.
Yeah, Saucy.
Fauci, something like that. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of interviews and press lately because of everything that's going on.
And I think that it's great.
Yeah, I've seen
to try and get the public informed. Kind of off note, have you guys seen the video of the people in El Salvador? I think it's El Salvador. There's like a couple of I guess police officers, and they have like a group of people lined up with their hands behind their heads, and they're walking them through the streets because they got caught outside when they're not supposed to be during this whole lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're walking the streets with their hands behind their heads, going, the cops are going, no debo andar a la calle. And then they have the people repeating, no debo andar a la calle. And so they're just like, you can't be in the street. So they're just, have you guys seen that video?
No.
Let me see if I could pull it up real quick.
I've seen a lot of the India videos. I've seen Chinese videos. I'm assuming it's China, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just being racist. But by the way, the first dog died in March 3rd.
Anthony Fauci. Yeah, that's his name. If any of y'all were.
Well, look,
you guys can see this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if you can hear it.
So.
Oh, they're marching, those guys.
Wow.
For those that can't see this, what's actually happening is that they're marching in a line, and they're very close to each other, which is kind of, defeating the purpose. But they're definitely not 6 feet away from each other.
Is this going to come out in the recording? Like, y'all playing this or no?
That does come out in the recording. And
yeah.
I'll wait and get demonetized.
I mean, it's only like 10 seconds. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're not making anything off this. So yeah, for people who wouldn't be able to actually see it, like I said, it's people in El Salvador. They're lined up. They have them walking down the street saying, I shouldn't be in the street. And they're all just yelling it out in unison. It's crazy.
It's that tribalism I was talking about, man.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. People, when the shit goes down, people, revert to their most primal state.
You know what I would do if I was in India? Those police officers just kind of beating people with a bamboo stick.
Yeah.
I would just grab a bamboo stick and act like I'm the police and just randomly, just arbitrarily start beating people as well.
Don't you have to have a uniform for that?
I mean, do I? I don't know. I mean, how professional do those police officers look?
I mean, I would have very professionals whenever they're carrying a gun. Usually they're carrying a gun and all.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, I'm a firm believer in it's more in your attitude and your confidence than your actual credentials. If I believe it hard enough and start talking to people right, I think I could sell it.
All right, sell it.
I'll just start beating people and I'll be like, where's your essential worker papers? Show them to me now. But in India.
I'm sorry.
Start swinging my bamboo stick.
That was the book like dad
voice. Where's the letter?
Oh my God.
Eventually, I'll just kind of lose my way into the police force. Like they'll just assume I'm one of them,
Bro, you're gonna get corrupted without ever even coming in.
It's like
corrupted with power.
Wait, could you get arrested for
the next morning at the police station? Like, all right, we're doing this. Are we starting? What's up? Where's the coffee? They're like, yeah, we're starting. We're gonna start in this slum today. But anywho,
could you get arrested for like impersonating a cop?
Yes,
I
you
think
can definitely get arrested for that.
In America, but in third world countries, you can get away with things,
I mean, I don't know about that, dude. There's places where they'll cut your hand off if you steal.
Dress for the job you want, Miguel. All right, it's all
Not
about
for the job you have.
I've gotten into a lot of places where I shouldn't have been allowed into, just because I walk in there like I belong there.
You know
It's all
what?
about,
You're right. You're completely right.
I'm telling you, grab a bamboo stick, wear some khakis, start swinging. You know, don't just assume, oh yeah, he's Punjabi from the other district. Come on, get all the help we can get. All right. I don't even.
What else have you guys done during the quarantine? Have any of you guys like watched anything new, like Tiger King, which recently came out like maybe a week ago?
I haven't watched Tiger King. For some reason, everybody seems to be shoving it down my throat, which makes me want to watch it less. But tell me about it. You know, what is Tiger King? Why is everybody all over this?
Well, it's a story. Well, it's a documentary series, sorry, about a man called Joe Exotic who owns a private zoo with 227 tigers.
Whoa.
Yeah. And in the US, like there's no specific laws against having, you know, exotic animals or owning exotic animals or exporting exotic animals. So it's like the story of him, his rivalry with
Carol Baskins.
Carol Baskin, who is a big tiger like sanctuary, like she's an advocate for big tigers and big cats and stuff like that. Exotic animals, basically.
How many exotic animals does she own?
Just as much. Just as many.
At least
probably around the same, yeah.
So
but
go ahead.
No. Go.
No. So I mean, in so many words, the docu series starts out like looking like one thing, like they're illustrating the world of exotic big cat keepers. Like, so it'll show you like this one guy in Oklahoma, this one person in Florida, and so forth and so forth. Like just a small hand of the big cats they keep, and they'll briefly talk about how big cats, the laws are lax and everything. But it turns into something else. So it starts focusing on kind of the drama of it all. So it focuses on Joe, who's like Joe Exotic, who's this kind of homosexual zookeeper.
Look, Miguel, let me put it this way so you can go ahead and watch it. Gay sex, magic, polygamy, tigers, and murder. That's what the show is about. You need to watch it.
What? You having gay sex. That's
and
drugs.
As soon as you said gay sex, I was just like, I'm in.
And drugs. Forgot about drugs.
Or you can just wait till they make the motion picture, and then you can, watch it then.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good time to watch. I've been going to the park lately a lot, and I've never seen so many people at the park. It's nuts. Like,
yeah, all of a sudden, people just start going outside.
Cool.
I can't believe the amount of jokes that people made about being inside before, and then now people are like, no, I want to be outside where the people are.
People making the memes are like, I miss like canceling on plans. I'm like, yeah, I feel it's
I'm so good at that too. I'm really good at that too.
It happens. Yeah, there's a little pond / lake-ish, because I'm not really sure if it's a pond or a lake, right by the apartments that I live in, and there's a lot of ducks, and now it's just like people parking on the street, like having picnics, like riding their bikes all over the place. The poor ducks are probably like, what the fuck? Like, why are you guys here? So it's weird. It's weird that somehow we're still not social distancing the right way. So
I mean, if you're far enough away from anybody else, would that be okay? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
It is okay. Like they said, you can do that much. Like don't touch public things, and if you go out, like just keep to yourself. Basically, at this point, that's what that one judge, that Hispanic judge in Harris County, that she was saying that much, that they're keeping the parks open for mental health reasons, and like don't go sitting in public benches or letting your child play in the playground.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's totally normal to go to the park. As a matter of fact, it's kind of like, I think that there might be something good coming out of this in the long run. Like me and Jenna were talking, and carbon footprint's going to be down, but big time.
Linda Hidalgo. Sorry.
Yeah. So like carbon footprint will be down big time, and then like the weather might actually change. Like global warming might be able to be reduced just a little bit, and the temperature might cool down next year. So if all of this happens, then all of those climate change deniers could never ever say anything again, right? Because if there was like a direct correlation, and it shows up, and then they're like, look, nobody was doing anything, and look what was happening.
I mean, that's already happening. Have you seen the photos of like Italy, the canals and stuff? Like the water's like clean now.
Clear.
It's all clear.
Yeah, it was Janet who predicted, and I'm giving her the credit just in case if this actually happens. Dr. Janet Martinez predicted that it will go down at least 3 degrees.
3.
Sounds about right.
She didn't give me a number, but she was saying that it's very likely that the carbon footprint will go down. It's very nuts. Like if you think about like the impact that this is having worldwide, it's a first. This has never happened before, and that's crazy. But then like the good things that will come out of this, like a lot of people might actually start appreciating the parks more. It might be that we start appreciating being like outside a lot more because we don't have the ability to be outside. You don't know what you have.
I feel like it might not change that much, at least in the aspect of like human nature. Like we'll probably be like, yeah, we love going out, we love being in the park, oh, let's go ride bikes. And then there's gonna be a point where we get back to being comfortable, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna just stay home. Like, oh, there's a party, all right, cool, I'll be there, and you don't go. Like I feel like we're gonna fall back into our comfort zone, regardless of however this ends up or when it ends up, like when all of this is over. But that's just me being a negative Nancy, I guess.
How about you guys? What do you guys think about this? I mean, do you think that this has affected you at all? And if so, do you think that you have changed in any way?
No. No, I don't think so. I mean, I just don't go out as much. That's about all that's changed. I still do everything I do before, besides like, for example, not going to jiu-jitsu, but I'm still being active, riding my bike, working out at home, doing whatever. I have weights here that I lift and put down and stuff. So, I mean, the thing that was crazy to me is like people like talking about going to gyms and everything, and I understand it. You can't replace a gym. You can't replace all those weight machines and everything, but if you want to live an active lifestyle, you're going to live an active lifestyle no matter what, especially when you have the time, when you're at home. There's stuff you can do to still be active. You just don't be complacent. If you're going to be complacent, with all this time, you're going to be complacent anyways. I mean, I don't think it really is changed much about who I am or what I do. It's just I have to work around these barriers in order to do what I already want to do, But as far as like after this, I kind of agree with both you, Miguel, and Marie, because I think there's going to be a moment. There's going to be a time period where after this is all over, we're going to go outside. We're going to be, we're going to want to be out and socialize and just appreciate everything a little bit more. after not being able to do certain things. But after a while, we're going to get complacent again. We're going to get comfortable, and then we'll go back to the same routines. I mean, it's just kind of how we are. Things don't really necessarily change that quickly or abruptly or like that significantly so quickly. It's kind of a process over time, you know. But I do think this is gonna like create a whole new generation of like germaphobes and stuff. Like think of like the kids, you know, think of like the kids who are growing up during all this, and their parents are like, "Did you wash your hands? Did you Did you touch the counter? Don't touch that." You know, like there's gonna be like a whole new generation of kids. They're just gonna be like afraid of germs and constantly washing and cleaning, and you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how this is gonna play out like long term in the future.
What about you, Franklin?
I kind of agree with Marie. So this event has changed our pattern of behavior because we've had no other choice. Given the freedom, we'd be doing the things that we were doing before when we had the freedom to do whatever it is we want. So this, do y'all hear? Okay.
You have a rooster?
I thought that was a rooster. I honestly thought that was a rooster.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rooster. There's
But Anthony's in an island, so he doesn't know.
no.
Yeah.
So I think Dr. Anthony Fauci was saying how compared to the flu, like the flu has a 0.01% mortality rate, where this one, like in the people that catch the flu, compared to this coronavirus, has a 1% mortality rate. If I got that right. If not, I'm probably paraphrasing, which is a big jump. And all the people that catch the coronavirus, 1% mortality rate, which seems low, but that's worse than the flu. But just with this event, people have changed their behavior because they had to. When we go back to normal, when this passes, more than likely people go back to the way things were. For people to change their behavior, for people to change their culture, it has to be something a lot bigger.
Bigger than a disease that randomly kills people who are compromised?
Yeah, so that's
I don't know what's
big
bigger
deal.
than that. Would it be like aliens?
No, that's a pretty big deal, right? But in the end, you know, we're going to be able to quantify in numbers the people that were affected, and it's going to suck, you know, that 100,000 or whatever, 200,000 or 300,000 people died worldwide. But compared to the world population, it's still going to seem like a small number. In points of history, there's been points where like a pandemic would hit and like maybe a third of a continent died. You know, I mean, not in recent history, but I think it would take something big like that. Or after World War II, a lot of things changed. Those things were a lot of ways a lot bigger and significant. This is a big deal, but somehow it's still manageable. You know, like we're flattening the curve. We're taking steps to reduce the effects. And so things are getting bad, but you know, we still have a home to stay in. We still live in comfort here in the U.S. anyways. You know, food hasn't run out because there wasn't any, more so just because people were just, you know, putting a strain on the supply chain or hoarding, which is very different from like there not being any food available, period, you know. So this is a big deal, but like I'm thankful that it's not something worse, you know. And that could happen like 10 years from now, or there could be an outbreak of something worse. Who knows? I think
right.
What?
If it was just a 2%.
Yeah, maybe it'll jump up to 2%. I don't know. Or God forbid something worse. I think if we're smart as a species, we'll start investing in somebody pacemaker beep.
That was my pacemaker. I'm sorry about that. The computer does that.
We're smart. We'll start investing. We'll start investing and preparing for that event. You know, I mean, just look at the economy. 2008. You know, we had a big crash, and here we are, like 10 years later, a little over 10 years later, and we're in the same boat. You know, like what are we doing wrong? So there's a lot of things we need to look at as a culture, I guess, as a people. I don't know, because this stuff can happen again, and it can be worse. And I'd hate to think that, but that's just nature. That's just the world.
That's crazy, guys. I actually have a pretty, you know, I think it's like a pretty good story that can end up here. Like, I think if there was going to be a big push to wake people up, it'd be something like this. You know, it'll be something where like a certain amount of the population dies, and then we realize what we care about, which is honestly, at the end of the day, is trying to help out other people, you know, in general. If you think about like the lengths in which we're trying to go just to flatten the curve, that alone, you know, should speak about, you know, how people's nature is, you know. On top of that, I see people hanging out more, and yes, your ability to be on your phone is probably still gonna end up ruling you more than anything else, if you know, because it's an addiction. It's definitely some kind of undercover pandemic, but I still think that like a certain percentage, not everybody, most people are gonna go back, and but there's still gonna be a pretty good percentage of people that are gonna look at this and be like, wow, you know, I didn't actually realize how much I appreciate it outside. I mean, me in particular, I love going to the gym, and then like, and yes, I still try to do gym stuff, but you know, it really makes me think about like how much I appreciate going to jujitsu. You know, where it's like a community of people where I hang out with. You know, like, I also get to appreciate, you know, going to like eat where there's other people there. That was something I didn't even notice that I liked until I
You
started.
hate eating.
Hmm?
You hate eating.
Yes, I actually, you know what? I'm trying to get over that, but that's a different thing.
I love that's like an effort. It takes. I'm trying.
Yes, but I just see this like an ability or an opportunity to do and be better in general, and I think that we probably will take that. I mean, every single time that there's been some kind of crazy event, things change for the better. You know, they're sometimes they get really crazy for a minute, but then things go back, and then we're like, oh, wasn't that crazy? You know, it happens like that every time. I'm sure between like whenever the Spanish flu hit, you know, and then now, obviously now we look at the flu like whatever, right? We're like, all right, I got the flu, I'm okay. But like, you know, back whenever the Spanish flu first hit, it hit young people and old people at the same time at that point in time. So like the Spanish flu hit, and it hit hard, and then people did not know what to do at that point. And then over time, I'm sure they ended up deciding that like, you know, to invest more in that, you know, to invest more money in that overall, and just in general. But anyways, to a different point, I watched Parasite in my time during quarantine. Marie, I know you like Parasite. What was up with that, huh? You really told us to watch it, and I was really happy with it. It was a really good movie. Does anybody else in it?
Anthony has.
You
Yeah, I've
haven't
seen
seen
it.
it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it.
I haven't had it yet.
So
Yeah.
It's no Tiger King, but it's a good movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit that happens, but like it's no Tiger King. I mean, um I feel like that movie can, well, some aspects of that movie, especially that talk about, you know, social class and capitalism and Korea, because it's a Korean movie, do hit some points when it comes to different parts of the world, like how we like I kind of compare it to like people like kids or families that are staying inside, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get like crafty and I'm gonna try to like make masks so I can give it to like the health workers, health professionals, so they have masks since they're we don't have any supplies. And then you have millionaires and billionaires, including like actors and performers and whoever, just like singing in unison, like Imagine by John Lennon. Like there's such a disconnect in the world of like people that are lower class, middle class, even like upper middle class. Like people that we know all over, like all around us, are struggling because maybe they're they're having a hard time to working from home, or they lost their job, or their kids don't have school, so now maybe one of the parents has to sacrifice some time to make sure that the kids are okay while the other one goes to work. Like we're in this side of things, and then there's people that have money, that are in the upper like side of like the upper class of income in capitalism, that are at home, they're social distancing, they're doing what they can, like all of us are, but there's no like they're not struggling, they're not feeling the impact that we're feeling. Like once this gets completely better, then they'll go get their gigs, they'll go make their money, they'll go make their movies, they'll go make their music videos, etc., etc. Like they're gonna keep being okay, while everybody that's on the lower side is just like struggling. So yeah, I feel like that movie is a really, really good representation for that specifically. And I don't want to like give anything away, because people are like recently watching it, and I feel like you have to go into it pretty blind and just see what you get from it. So that's my take on it, so I don't rant for another like 30 minutes about it. Yeah.
I see. What's interesting about this social class thing that I hear a lot from, like, uh, not that I don't think that it's not true. I want to start it off like, I want to start off my rant with that, but I really think
Mhm.
that it's a, it can always be worse. As things can always be better, it can always be worse. It doesn't matter where you're at in the line, right? So if you're at this point, like in the line where you're a business owner, right? Well, now things are really bad for you, because like things are being closed. You cannot, the gyms are closed. A lot of the gym owners, a lot of jiu-jitsu gym owners, they can't do anything. They have to start trying to hustle some other way. But it
Mhm.
could always be like there's a person that worked at McDonald's that can't go to work at McDonald's anymore. Like I know there's a lot of people that I've actually even met that got fired because they can't support those. So, it's always like a little worse. Doesn't matter where you are. There's always going to be someone who does less. That's why like economic, differences, which I feel like are probably the biggest type of differences that we have as humans, is is not really like a good measurement. It's only a good measurement to see whenever we're looking into in the general, right? So right now things are better in general than they used to be like in the 1970s for almost everybody.
Mhm.
But like in whenever we're looking into like those people singing, of course, whatever, they don't have anything else to do. I don't mind it. I don't see any problem with it. I can easily understand people doing uh just trying to do something to entertain themselves, especially the rich. They must need something. Well, I don't know. Anthony, did you?
Uh,
I think as far as like the people singing Imagine and all that, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but there's definitely a disconnect there, because it it's not just because they need something to do that they do that. it's because they want to try to connect with people and try to bring some light into this whole situation, when it's like, that no one needs you to sing Imagine right now. Like, that's not helping anybody. That's not making anybody feel better. Like, I just lost my job, or I have my business closed down. Like, but thank God you've sung Imagine. I feel so much better now. This has made my life so much better. Like, now it's such a huge disconnect. Like, it doesn't it's crazy. um it if it was just like a random video some other day, cool. It's
Yeah.
still mad corny to me, but like, whatever, cool, do your thing. But the fact that it was meant to try and make people feel better when people are in really desperate times is where the disconnect is. It's like, you got to know your audience. That you got to know the people who you're trying to reach out and connect with. They don't want that right now. Like, that's not it's not the time or the place to do it right now. You know.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of celebrities, especially at this time, like an example would be Vanessa Hudgens, for example. You know, just to throw a name out there. Maybe 2 weeks ago, she did a live. So obviously, we're all at home. A bunch of celebrities are like, "Fuck it, we're gonna start doing live videos on Instagram, right?" And she did a live video, and she mentioned how, like, she was like, yeah, this is really scary, but you know, it's kind of inevitable that people are gonna die. Like, she said that with her whole chest. And it's like, dude, like, you know, I'm not expecting you to do what our president should be doing,
That's
which is
not.
like,
Hold on. I'm sorry. That's not what she said, though.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say that's not that bad.
No, what she ended up saying, she was like, "I get it. It's a virus. I respect it. People are gonna die, but is it inevitable? I don't think so." And like, it was just some real ignorant stuff. Like, made
yeah.
like no sense. But yeah, I mean, of course, you don't expect Vanessa Hudgens to go out and fucking fix the world, but like, to just be talking all this like it's like not a big deal at all.
Mhm.
Like, legit, people are dying. Like, look at Italy, man. Like, hospitals are overrun, like, with sick people, and that can easily happen here or anywhere else in the world. Especially like in a third world country, it can happen like super quickly. Here it can happen. We're already like rationing supplies. Um, I know there's hospitals that are like counting up their masks already, counting up their ventilators, even though we don't necessarily have to at this point. I know a ton of hospitals that are already preparing and getting ready for the worst situation right now, because it does seem inevitable that it's going to get out of hand at some point. It's just only a matter of time. That could just be, worst case scenario that they're prepping for, but it doesn't bode well. There's a lot of uncertainty right now that's kind of scary for a lot of people, especially like people in the healthcare industry. For business owners, like you mentioned earlier, there's gyms that are closing now. Like, where's their where's their uh where's their next, whatever going to come from, their rent payment, their utility payment? Like, where's that going to come from? I know a lot of people are, in regards to like this specific instance, I know a lot of people are keeping their gym memberships active and keeping that going just so they can have a gym when they come back.
Mhm.
But it's the question is, when is this all going to end? When are we going to be able to come back? They just extended this stay-at-home order until
The
April
30.
30th.
Yes.
It's and it'll probably get extended even longer, because some people don't seem to be taking this seriously enough.
Just
Like
in case, I wanted to, I looked it up. Even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are going to die, which is terrible, but inevitable. That was Vanessa Hutchins.
that was the quote.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so
Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate the direct quote.
yeah, it just goes back to that weird disconnect that some people have, especially people in a higher class, seem to have about the world. You know, you kind of see like where their mind is at and all this. But you know, it's if I had the money to, I'd probably be the same way.
Hmm.
Mm.
I feel like eventually everybody's gonna what she's saying right there. Think I really think that it's actually a it's like an underlying feeling that a lot of people they may not have right now, but eventually they're gonna have. You know, eventually there's gonna be a point in time where we're gonna be like, if this goes on for another 3 months, do you think that people are gonna stay inside for another 3 months and not go to work? I'm sure that at that point in time, people are gonna be like, I have to do something. I mean, it's inevitable. I'm gonna have to deal with it. I'm just gonna have to deal with what's going on. And like what she said right there, and I'm not trying to defend her, but I do understand what she's
Mm.
trying to say. It's just
Mhm.
a very bad way of saying it, especially like in the way that she said it. But like what she was the feeling that she's trying to convey about how like this is probably something that we're gonna have to just deal with. It's gonna be another flu. You know how there's a flu every year? Eventually there's gonna be the corona every year, right? So it might be that this is the new world. And at that point in time, somebody's gonna have to say something.
I've heard that before, like, oh, it's just a flu, you know, it might happen in the next season or whatever. I get that and it makes sense, but there's a flu shot. There's no corona shot,
Not yet.
you know?
Not yet. The flu is a corona type virus,
Right.
right? So like, you know, eventually I'm assuming based upon what we have, we're gonna have the technology to have the coronavirus flu shot.
On average, they say it takes about a year, give
Yeah.
or take, to come out with the. I mean, that's a whole year. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So at 6 months, I give it, everybody's gonna have this sentimentality. It's gonna be something like around 6 months where like I gotta do something. I gotta feed my family. I don't really care very much about everybody else.
I feel
Marie?
like I do see where you're coming from when it comes to that, but I also do think like the I try to watch. I'm trying to like minimize how much I'm watching the news right now because it doesn't help with feeling stressed over it or anxious about it. But like the numbers haven't stopped going up. Like, yeah, we're getting tests out, we're getting results in, we're getting, we see how many cases there are. We're in the 200,000s right now, but the death rate is also going up with it. Like, are we still going to keep? Are we gonna say fuck it? I'm gonna just go out to work, go out to go do whatever I want to do, and then come home to my kids and possibly get them sick. You know, even though they're telling us that the death rate of this virus is like 3.5%, if it gets to that point of being so deadly that so many people are dying, and it's really, I always think of it like in the more sentimental sides of things, like in the more emotional side of things, because I do know people that are going to work and risking their lives when it comes to it. I also know people that are around exposed to that environment, and it's very worrisome. Like, it's very stressful, and I because of the internet also, like, you can see people communicating how this is affecting them too. And yes, it does affect people that are compromised. It does affect people that are older, but it's also affecting people our age. It's also affecting people, like my brother's age. Like, it's a real thing. People are dying. People are getting very sick. People, we don't have the supplies to help as many people. So I'm like with both of you guys on that. Like, I don't know. I just think we'll just have to see how it is until the end of this month. And I don't think it's gonna end at the end of this month, but we just have to figure something out. And I hope that our government will do something to help people out at least, or I don't know, just try to make this a serious thing where we can honestly flatten the curve, because right now we have states like Florida or Arkansas or Tennessee that are not taking this order seriously, and there's people still doing whatever. There's people still going to work completely like nothing's going on, or going to the beach, or having a vacation. So it's like, do we say like fuck it right now? Like, do we just we're like, all right, cool, it's gonna keep happening, might as well just deal with it? Or do we keep pushing forward to actually minimize the numbers, because right now it keeps growing, so it sucks. And no, I don't know like how to feel about it completely.
I see.
Mhm.
So, did anybody get April Fools today? Today was April Fools. There's a.
I don't think anybody did anything.
I mean, I don't know who you're gonna fool inside of your own home. I feel like you could just fool your kids. You know what I did?
Nah.
I just, like sometimes I'll like bang on the can for my cats, and they know that it's time to eat wet food, which is what they love. But I banged on it and I didn't give them any wet food.
You're
I
horrible.
cheated playing Uno with my brother so I could win.
Really?
Yeah.
She
He has
cheat.
to learn.
These aren't pranks. These aren't April Fool's jokes. This is just you guys being assholes. I don't. This isn't. It's not funny.
Well, you know what? I did another one. I left for, to go get something from the store, and then I called Janet saying that it had stopped me because I didn't have my Corona papers.
Your freedom papers. Wow.
I'm joking. I didn't do that,
No.
but that's a good one. You should do that for next year. Whenever we still gotta do the Corona stuff.
Oh wow.
Who thought
Yeah.
that grocery delivery would be an essential service?
What?
Grocery delivery is an essential service.
Well, yeah. I mean, people need groceries.
Yeah, I mean, I never actually thought of. I honestly, I have never really thought as much about older people as I had this last couple of weeks. And this is something that's affecting them more. It feels. I kind of like the feeling that we do care, which is opposite to my opinion beforehand. If somebody would have asked me, what we actually care, whether we care about old people. And I still feel like the system is built for 30 to 40-year-olds. I think that's a golden spot for, to be a human being in the United States at this moment in time.
So
But
the Frankies.
yeah, the Frankie's in the 1%. He's singing, Imagine.
He's singing it.
I did my part.
Oh my god. No. Um, so wait. Yeah. What?
Who's watching videos?
Sorry, I thought something auto played on.
All right.
I
My
like
bad.
what were you watching, Anthony?
Something auto played on my end.
What are you watching?
It was an ad on a website.
Porn.
It's Pornhub.
All right. So I wanna close out with like what do you guys? I mean, this is second week since the last time we met. We met one time before this, but the audio was kind of bad, so I didn't release the podcast. But what do you guys think about like now with the information you have now? When do you think this is gonna end? By the way, I'm a prepper now. This is definitely whenever I asked earlier whether it has changed to you, it definitely changed me into being like, oh, I gotta be a crazy conspiracy theorist. That's where it's at. They're booming right now.
Mm,
What was the question?
The question was, what do you guys think is? When do you guys think this is gonna end, and how?
mm.
So I think that this is all really gonna end once Joe Exotic is released from prison. I believe that he will have the vaccine. He will have the cure. He will have all the answers, and that bitch Carol Baskins will get what she deserves. Um,
Period.
Wait. Does he come out because of the vaccine? Does he just like, I have the vaccine, and he uses that as leverage, or does he come
Yeah,
out and
you
he makes it afterwards?
So what's gonna happen? They're gonna release all the criminals from prison. They're gonna
Oh,
release
yes.
everybody from prison.
Yeah.
He's gonna be released, and once he has his freedom back, as he so much deserves, he will go back, reclaim his tiger zoo, and then he will reveal that he has the vaccine to coronavirus, which all along was just tiger semen this entire time. And with his 227 tigers, he will cure the world of coronavirus.
Wow. That's really good. I
I
hope
think that's the only theory we can have.
Those are just my thoughts
that's a really good theory.
based on science and religious belief.
You, Marie, with this newfound knowledge.
I don't know. I feel like Anthony's theory is pretty spot on, and I'm team like free #free Joe Exotic, man. Like I mean the whole like keeping exotic animals captive is not my thing. Like I'm not okay with it, but like he did it for 20 plus years, and I feel like if there's someone that's gonna find the cure through tiger semen, it's gonna be him. It's not gonna be anybody else. So I agree with Anthony on that. Hopefully it's not by the end of his sentence. So I'm hoping maybe like Trump watched the documentary and he was like, yeah, we need to let this man out. Like, it's fine. He is the cure.
He's already getting released anyways.
Is he though?
I mean, they're letting criminals out now, out of jail, so they won't get infected. I don't know where they're gonna go, but what about you, Frankie?
It's hard. I mean, just based on scientific evidence, it's hard to top what Anthony said. But something I like to add, piggyback onto that, is democracy is great, right? But I think you got to get an idea of the dangers of democracy when you realize that Joe Exotic ran for governor of Oklahoma, and he got what, like 15% of the votes or something like that, 15-18%.
About 13%.
That's pretty significant, in my opinion, for somebody who has no business. I mean, yeah.
I mean, Trump ran for president. He got 100% of the correct votes, and he's not the president.
To be fair on that point, Frankie, just to clarify and keep things, truthful and factual, he did get 13% of votes, but he only got 13% of votes within his party. So he got 13% of the what did he run as? An independent?
And independent, yes.
No, but
Libertarian.
Libertarian.
Yeah,
so he got 13% of the libertarian votes, which means he wasn't the libertarian candidate, which means he never really even, you know what I mean?
Anyway,
he gets my
I obviously didn't do my homework as much as I should have, because the series made it look like it was just the election for Oklahoma governor, and he literally got 13% of the of the voting populations.
Yeah, that's what it made it look like. But no, he only got 13% of his party, of the small libertarian party. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
I feel a little better. Maybe
Fat
the
Joe.
but you know what? I will say this though, because he also did run for president in 2016.
The guy is
Um,
sure of himself.
oh no, for sure. I got to send you
Yes.
some of his campaign videos. They are amazing.
Send him the
So
singing videos too.
yeah, I'll send
He's a
the music. He's a country star as well. He's a
he's
country
a
music
country
he has
star.
star.
multiple albums, Miguel. Multiple albums.
Yeah.
I like this guy already. I mean, he's a doer.
hmm Yep. And
He's gonna get out of prison, reclaim his, his title as the king, the Tiger King. You know what? Nay, the Tiger Emperor now.
so
True.
as I was saying, he ran for president back in 2016, and I do just want to, put my little pin at the end of all this and just say that if he was elected president, none of this would have ever happened. Corona would have never been a thing. It would have been eliminated right away. We would be living in pure harmony in the world if Joe Exotic was our president of the United States. And I firmly believe that.
I'm in. I believe that too. Well, guys, I think we'll end it on that. Joe Exotic, we are waiting for your comeback. The chosen one. The chosen one to be our Tiger King. Nay, our Tiger Emperor. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thank you for being the Savages and Scholars.